So 50 Cent, right, had some advice.
I remember
for
50
Danny
Cent told.
Brown. I want to know what y'all think
I
about
remember
this
50
advice.
Cent told me that hanging with 50 Cent, he was like, man, because he was always talking about like, man, you got to make a hit song, you know, this and that and that and this. And I was like, man, I just want to be like artistic and like push boundaries and like be progressive and like make experimental type music like that I never heard before and shit like that. Like, man, if you want to make music, he's like, if you want to make music that ain't gonna make no money, then you might as well just make that shit for yourself and listen to that shit in your basement, because that's where you're gonna be at.
Yo,
Wiser words have never been spoken.
hey man, y'all let he probably Uncle 50 now, man. Y'all let Uncle Fifth, guide y'all to the truth, bro.
50 be dropping game. He need to write another book.
He does.
Yeah, he need to write another book.
And his books are always, more like strategic, serious.
Mm-hmm.
But he need to drop like just funny game, like game
Yeah.
in a funny way, because he got such a personality and the shit he say, man. Like, bro, do you watch Power? Did you ever watch Power?
I watched it like early on, not anymore. I'm like a good couple of, I ain't gonna say a lot of seasons behind.
It's funny. I'm weird because I was one of the people who were opposite. Like I missed the first season, 3 seasons. I still haven't watched them, and then I watched everything up from there. Or maybe it was the first 2 that I missed.
I think that's where I stopped. End of season 3 was where I stopped.
And it was I never wanted to watch it, bro. My sister just she got me. She got me, bro. But it was one of those things. 50 had one of these things. I think it was like to Tariq, his buddy's son. So it's 50. I forgot his character's name. Ghost son is Tariq, and he was like, if they say he did that shit, he did that shit. I can't remember the exact quote. I'm gonna find that. Like, EJ, bro, you gonna have to put that up, man. Like, it's cool. It's the funniest thing though, and it's truly 50 Cent.
Yeah.
I think they're saying something like Ghost killed somebody, right? So if that's Tariq dead, and it was just like, hey yo, if they say he did that shit, he did that shit. He said it so serious, bro. It was the funniest thing, bro. I'm gonna find a clip and show it to you. But like the advice itself, man, we getting off track. The advice itself, man, like that's how I really feel.
Yeah, same.
It's music business.
People
right?
need to hear that, bro. Yeah.
Like, people really need to hear that. If you want to create something for your I just create music for myself. No, this is the music business, and the music business is within the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And this is why I always say is the biggest benefit that comedians have that artists don't have, specifically music artists, and that is that feedback loop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If you don't laugh, it's not funny.
Yeah.
Period. And they take it as is. Now,
Yeah.
of course, there's like stupid crowds, bad crowds, but like generally, they kind of understand, like, hey, if they don't laugh, it's not funny.
I'm here for the people.
I'm here for the people.
Yeah.
Artists, they can convince, they don't get this shit, man.
Not ready.
It's deep. Y'all don't understand where it's coming from. And it's this whole, there's the positive level of delusion that artists might think that they need to have at some level, especially if they're doing something different. But then, there's a lot of people that, no, you really need to hear that. Like, you really shouldn't have been on American Idol because you actually can't sing.
Yeah.
Let alone good music. It's like, bro, no, you actually can't sing. Because I ain't going to lie, I used to think when I was little, American Idol came out, I was probably single digits or something, or like right into the double. And I'll be like, man, they probably put all these people on there on purpose.
So we could laugh at them.
So we can laugh at them. I was like, I wonder if these people, it's no way that some of these people actually think they can sing. Now that I'm in the business, now that I'm where I'm at, the things that I get sent, the things that I hear.
They didn't know that was a joke. They didn't know. I feel like a lot of artists I think they get the love of the music, like their love of the music, their love of the craft, confused with, I guess, what fans want to accept. It's like, just because you like it, just because you love it, doesn't mean that I as a listener have to feel the same way, right?
I agree.
And I don't know, man. I feel like that's a real like mature moment for artists to be able to say like, okay, this is what my audience maybe wants from me, or maybe this is the type of stuff that I need to make to get me traction. And if they like that enough, then I can bring them back to maybe what I really want to make. Because like you said, there's a very small percentage of artists where that is true for them. Like there are some people that's like, okay, maybe like you are a little bit ahead of your time. The music is still good, but it's maybe just different from what we're used to.
Right.
But then it's like the other 99.8%, it's like, nah, bro. You need to listen to that shit.
See, that's it right there. It's simple. Like, meet me where I'm at,
Yeah.
you know, and then take me somewhere new. But you can't just start over there. I don't trust you. I need to know, man.
Yeah, it's like you off in the distance, bro. I ain't trying to come
Yeah,
over
you
there
off in the
yet.
distance,
I don't know
man.
you yet to come over there.
What
Yeah.
what you holding, you know what I mean, under that coat? I don't know. I don't trust you. So now that I trust you, you can take me somewhere new.
Yeah.
Show me the block, and man, I like it over here. And now you get credit, like, you know, the typical Kanye use samples. Can't get more familiar than samples, right?
Yeah.
Outside of covers, but use samples, very hip hop, backpack. Then he does not graduation, 808s,
Yeah.
right? Took us somewhere after he connected, right?
Yeah.
So you can either do that, or you can stay in your corner and with your good music and just let it be for you, or hope, right? There's some people that they get situations. God just blesses them and makes it happen, even though, you know, they didn't do the work. And a lot of artists try to use those people as inspiration, but that is not the norm.
That anomaly, yeah.
That is
Yeah.
100% an anomaly. Most people have to figure out a way to hustle, be strategic about what they create.
Yeah.
And then there's some people who even, you'll create music and I'll create this other stuff as a throwaway. Not as a throwaway, but I know I'm not going to put marketing dollars because the label isn't going to put money behind this because it
Yeah.
doesn't represent the brand that they bought me for,
Yeah.
right? Or that we're in partnership with. And you have a fiscal responsibility, so to speak. I don't sound like it go with artistry, but in music business, yeah, it do. All right, so you have that, and then you have some people who they get their creative climax by saying, "Hey, this is my main brand, and this is what people want to hear from me. So I'll continue to sell this way." I might create something and just put it out there as a Lucy and let it happen, and then I also might write for other people.
Yeah. Take that experimental energy somewhere else.
Experiment.
Yeah.
So yeah, let them do it and they get all that, but at least I was able to get that creative itch out.
Yeah.
And then, you know, somebody like Drake, every once in a while you'll see them collaborate with somebody in a different space.
It's like them dipping toes in the water.
Yeah, I got context.
Yeah.
Oh, why does Drake sound like this? Well, he's on this track with this artist, so
Yeah.
it makes sense. So he doesn't get a knock for as if it was his own song.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
there's strategies and ways to go about it, but you can't expect any. But it's hard to have anybody accept you for all of who you are. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah, and like, and you said something important too. 50 Cent said it. I mean, he's not saying like you have to quit making music. You just have to understand like this might not go where you want it to go, right? Like it's like if it goes back to I think we were talking about in an older episode, bro. Like consumer behavior isn't gonna fold or bend for you unless that shit is amazing. If it's amazing, we'll bend a little bit. If it's like less than amazing, which it could be great. Great music is less than amazing, but great don't always, you know what I'm saying, bend the culture, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good music don't always bend the culture.
Yep.
Terrible music damn sure ain't gonna be isn't gonna bend the
Not
culture.
at all.
And I don't know, I always feel like a lot of artists who like to use the different excuse for like trash. That's me personally. It might be a hot take.
What do you mean different excuse for trash?
Like they like to say, "Oh, my music is different," so that's why people don't understand.
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like, no,
yeah,
that shit is
yeah.
really just bad.
Yeah.
It's not different at all. It's bad.
100%.
But I don't know if we have that context because we get so much music. You know what I'm saying? We have to listen to so much music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like I really had a conversation with artists like, bro, you think you different? You the 15th person I've heard this week that sounds exactly like this.
Yo, I think that's something that I don't know how you escape that because as an artist, I feel like they have to believe that in some sense.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, an artist, y'all can comment on this, man. Like, I think there's sometimes maybe what's in an artist's head, right, is more different than their output, right? And maybe you're not in the space where you have all the production, right? Or, you know, guidance, collaborators to pull those things out of you. That's why collaborations are a real thing. I think people like sleep on the value of collaboration, being around other people to pull those tools in different ways to communicate things that you already got inside of you.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, you felt different in your head and you were saying something different in your head, but it came out just like what I already heard. Bro, how different can you be when you got the beat off of YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah. And,
You know what I'm saying?
and I think it's like, I guess, situational context too. Like if I'm a Atlanta trap, or if I live in Atlanta and I'm surrounded by, let's say, Atlanta trap rappers, and I want to make punk rock music, I'm gonna feel different because my immediate surroundings. I am different compared to my immediate surroundings.
Yes.
But then once you hit the internet, it's like, well, no, you're not different. You know what I'm saying? There's hundreds and thousands of punk rock artists that make great, amazing, really good music, right? And so then you go from, I guess, what is it, like big fish in a small pond to small fish in a big pond? You know what I'm saying? Like as soon as you put it out. And so I think it's just kind of like artists get caught up in an echo chamber a little bit. Or not even really echo chamber, but just like just that, like situational context. Like I am different compared to my understanding of what is out there.
Right.
And my understanding of who is doing what. So I think it's easy to think that, but that's why I say I think that's why we see it. What we see is because we hear multiple artists of different types of genres to know, like, yo, man, I ain't saying this to knock you. You know what I'm saying? You still make good music. You're just not as different as you think you are. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's not a bad thing because I mean, you can have 10 people that make the same type of music, but one of them is gonna obviously be better. People are gonna obviously like one more than others. So it's not the worst thing not to be, you know, not to be super different. Because being different today is really just being yourself openly. That's what I would argue. You know what I'm saying?
There's
Yeah.
a truth today where everything's kind of out there.
Everything.
It's hard to find
Yeah.
different. Like different is so hard. So it's not even a knock on you, right? To be like, oh no, it's not really that different. We've heard like literally. I mean, what you said. I want people to know like Corey's literally talking about. No, I just talked to an artist that sounds just like
you, bro.
That is not a abnormal occurrence for us, right? But it's not a knock. Different is hard, and that's why when it's done on a high level, it gets put on a pedestal because it's hard to truly achieve different.
Yeah,
it should be hard.
Be hard. Different and good.
And good.
Yeah,
ooh, that's
yeah.
A whole nother thing, right?
That's the magic combo.
That's a whole other thing. Let alone great. So I think because different doesn't sell, and I think we think different sells.
Yeah.
Right, and we all want to be different because we've seen something different, right? That might have inspired us, but I don't think different is as important as authentic.
Yeah, good point.
Authentic sells.
Different sells when we know you enough.
Right, when we know you enough,
yeah.
different will begin to sell.
Yeah,
then you got to take us to that place. But authentic can sell when the music isn't even all that great. You just have something to say, and it comes from a perspective, and it feels so raw.
Yeah.
That's what people are getting from Glorilla right now.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
it just feels authentic and real.
Yeah,
that's why when people love Cardi on her come up, all right. You know, you have all these people that put on these airs on their music or whatever, and then they're just like this different person when they're in their normal life.
Yeah,
and you listen to Cardi, you like, bro, she wilder, and when she regularly talking, than she is on the track. like she just be saying some crazy shit. She sound funny. Her voice is really like that. So. Different isn't as important as authentic, and it goes back to what we said earlier, which is just that whole idea of your POV, right? Your perspective is the value. Last time when we went to LA, on a plane, I was listening to, I watched a bad movie, and then I watched this master class. You know, the brand master class.
Oh yeah, the app thing. Yeah,
I had never seen any of those before. But they had one on Howard Schultz. He's the CEO of Starbucks. I think he was actually the founder too, but I know he left and came back. He did like some Steve Jobs stuff, like, hey, company go down, come back, flex, show you how bad I am. But one of his business tenets that he talked about was not being so focused on being different and being more focused on disrupting.
Yeah.
All right. And the difference between different and disrupting, because people always kind of think, well, I'm gonna do something different, I'm disrupting, but disrupting is anchored by what the norm is, right? And so is difference is a contrast of what the norm is, but disruption is, hey, I'm going to give my unique take on something that already exists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like us getting on the same track, but you make a love song and I make a, I don't know, hood banger or something like that.
Yeah.
Or we both make a love song, but I do it from a hood voice and you do it from like more of a R&B voice, where it's just like, what is your perspective on what's already happening? So if you can authentically cut through and give a unique approach to a genre that already exists, like that's what you're seeing now with the what is it the toxic R&B, right?
Yeah.
Toxic R&B, you know, I had like an old person moment the other day where it just made me feel old, where I'm like, this shit already existed. This ain't nothing really all that different contextually when you look at the lyrics and everything. And then you look at Trap Soul, right? That was a flip of basically still just R&B.
Yeah.
Right. Then you look at Neo Soul, and I think it was an executive who really like marketed that whole thing and put these artists in the batch. We're New Soul to say, hey, how do we separate ourselves?
We ain't the
from
Temptations.
this R&B? Yeah, we're not the. We definitely ain't the Temps. You know what I'm saying? We don't got froze. We wear Temps. We not the Temps, bro. And so it's like, how do I not only market as something new, but also alleviate that difficulty that comes with being compared to greats that have already been there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It gives you more freedom because I reframed what you're consuming. You
Yeah.
know? So, though, if you can just take something and disrupt it by giving us a unique tweak, and again, of course, it has to be good. Can't go back to that enough, right?
Yeah.
It has to be good, but that's how you disrupt because we're used to it, so we can consume. But another thing that happens when you're used to something, it's like a cover. A cover is the best way to describe it. If you did a cover song and you sang your ass off, all right, because I know the song already,
Check it out.
I pay more attention. No, not just that, right? But I pay more attention to you because I already know the song, so I know the unique qualities you brought to the song.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But
That's
if
a
I
good
didn't
point.
know the song, it's kind of like I'm just hearing it all. You know what I mean? And that's why I think it's easier for artists to get not only get attention with covers because we know, it's just something you're already used to, but to get appreciation for their talent because we know, oh dang, he did this and they did that. That was the norm.
Yeah, there's a preset bar for it,
It
pretty
was
much.
a preset bar,
Yeah.
so we have something to compare it to. And humans compare. That's all it is. So, like, well, I don't want to harp on this too long because that all came from the 50 Daddy Brown advice. I didn't even know we were gonna be on that long, bro. But you gotta see, this is artist advice